Is it time to go to the moon for XRP? Well, at least for Vechain it is. They just got themselves a juicy announcement from Coinbase. Well, at the same time, presidential candidate, well, not named because YouTube is turning against him. So let's, get that out of our sight here. Says he will ensure we have policies that support Bitcoin and the freedom to transact. To which I think John Deaton's opinion is quite interesting, so we're going to be covering that in this video. But guys, if you haven't done it yet, make sure you press that like button, because why not? You've got absolutely nothing to lose, only things to win. What do you win? Well, my gratitude and love. And anyway, let's move on. So John Deaton said Gary Gensler is not going to survive another election year, in my opinion. They love you until you become a political liability. A couple more judges coming out and saying things like the SEC lacks faithful allegiance to the law and are hypocrites, along with higher attrition among the staff, and there'll be a cumulative effect. Of course, there could be no other negative comments made. It will be interesting. Now, what that is referring to is this right here. But again, let me tell you, this whole debacle with the SEC is just absolutely wild. And so what we're about to read here is a little bit of a retaliance, right? It's a little bit of a pushback. Apparently, in an aggressive move, Binance has gone on an offensive or on an offense against the SEC in the federal court case. Lawyers for the Binance defendants have filed a motion accusing the SEC of engaging in unethical conduct. You see, this is what I kept on telling you is going to... Almost fell off the chair. By the way, you might be thinking, oh, stable chair. No, this is what I'm rocking with right now, right? This is what I'm rocking with here. We've been talking for a good while about how the SEC eventually is going to be caught out. They keep going and, let's say hypothetically speaking, right? There's a guy, right, that has a stick, a very long stick. Gary Gensler, no, just kidding. He has a very long stick and he's just poking into different animal enclosures. Well, none of them really like it, right? But a lot of them might be like, ignore. Eventually, you've been poking that stick into too many freaking monkey eyes that at some point they're all going to freaking attack you like crazy. And that's kind of what's been happening over the last couple of years. They poked the stick into Ripple's eye. They jammed a freaking brick into Binance's head. They smacked a crazy rock on Coinbase. And eventually, some of them are not too happy with the results. Anyway, let me explain. Binance has accused the SEC of violating court rules by making statements outside of the court that are false, designed to harm Binance U.S. customers, and likely to taint the jury pool. Binance asked the court to order the SEC to comply with the applicable court rules. And this is all at the same time while Coinbase is going after the SEC to try to get them to properly make rules, right? We talked about that earlier. So Binance asked the court to comply with the applicable rules. So now Binance argues that after entry of an order agreed to by the parties, the SEC issued a misleading press release claiming these things. It had secured emergency relief. CZ had commingled and diverted customer assets, and the order was essential to protecting investor assets. Binance argues that when questioned by the judge repeatedly, the SEC attorneys were unable to point to any evidence that CZ had diverted or commingled customers' assets. That, I have to state that this is pretty similar to what happened with Ripple, where the SEC keeps alleging things, but when asked about it, they can't back it up. And so in another video coming out in a couple of hours from now, right, because I've already got it here, I'll be showing you yet again the SEC stalling tactics. It takes a couple of minutes, and the problem is I want to get this video out as soon as possible because of the Vechain news. I don't want to wait too long, so I don't want to bore you with 4 minutes. But let me tell you, it's just really, really funny how the SEC is always able to divert any answer. Whenever they're asked something, they say, so let's say hypothetically they were to ask, oh, you said that, yes or no? Well, I've been working here since 2011. It's like, well, I didn't ask your whole history session, right? Did you say that, yes or no? Well, we at the SEC tried to. It's like, Binance argues the SEC has violated not only court rules, but also the SEC's own code of conduct. Wouldn't be the first time. It's noteworthy that these allegations of misconduct are signed by Bill McLucas and George Canellos, both of whom served as head of the SEC's Division of Enforcement. So this is a very big deal. And again, Binance US has been hiring a lot of these ex-SEC members. So if they agree, Accusations of unethical conduct coming from these lawyers will definitely reverberate in the halls at the SEC. And the SEC will come back swinging, most likely. More sticks to poke holes. They will argue their press release was fine because they did not concede what Binance says was conceded. They are allowed to repeat allegations from their own complaint, and Binance's own post-hearing statements were improper. Bottom line, this is just the beginning. Binance is clearly going on the offensive. The Binance lawyers are signaling to the SEC that they are in for a real fight, just like the Ripple case. And again, I appropriately tweeted fire Gary Gensler because this is freaking bogus. But it's kind of like Coinbase fighting now to get the rules on paper. It's Ripple fighting in the sense that every crypto should get a fair shot and the rules should need to be clear. And Binance fighting for the SEC just claiming things which are just absurd. And again, I like to argue that a lot of things would change as a different president comes in, but it will take time. The first thing we're waiting for here is the committee meeting in July where they're going to be talking about crypto regulations. That could be the first foot in the door. But I think right now Coinbase is also showing solidarity of continuing to explore support for new digital assets by, looking into Vechain right now. So yeah, over on their website, it just says they've changed something to their roadmap, and the native assets they're referring to are Vechain and Vechain Thor. This is not an exhaustive list of all the assets we've decided to list. Any asset not referenced in the above does not preclude any asset from such potential listing, but yeah, it's only 2 of them, and this is so funny to me, the fact that they said we're not going to be delisting every single crypto the SEC alleges is a security. But now, not only that, they're saying even a bigger middle finger to the SEC by saying, you know what? We think that these cryptos are completely fine and we're going for it. What are you going to do about it, right? Sue us again? You've already gone after us. So the only thing you can do is add more cryptos to that complaint, which wouldn't be out of the ordinary for the SEC, I'd say. Fred Rispoli had something else to say. He said, this is what I've been waiting for. A company and its legal team not acting like little scared of the SEC and willing to go on the offense. Billy Boy and Gorgeous George, you're making HODL Law proud. And then Wrath of Kahneman asked, so why do you think Ripple didn't pursue this angle given the emails and given all the discussions? Fred said, my guess would be because it wasn't as obvious then, as Ripple was the first case where the SEC required, I'd say, pushback. But now with Coinbase's petition, Bittrex, Binance, the insider Coinbase case, the foundation is solid to assert such a claim. That the SEC is basically overreaching, etc., right? And I think this is only going to keep getting deeper as the SEC digs themselves into a deeper hole, tries to deny more and more things, and also refuses to give answers to more and more things like seen in this video, which I'll show you later in another video. But all I'll say to end this off is, guys, if you've not pushed that notification bell on yet, again, I try to make these videos as concise and as straight to the point as possible. Make sure you do it right now, because what if the Ripple case is over tomorrow? What if the SEC just gets sued tomorrow by some company? Who knows, right? All that stuff could happen in an instant, and I'll be here to notify you guys with everything that's going on. So make sure you put the notification bell on, and that's about it. See you later in another crypto video.